In the last 12 months, Arsenal Football Club has been the definition of instability. They began this period of time sacking their head coach, then hired a new head coach, endured a global pandemic, imposed pay cuts on their players, finished 8th, won the FA Cup, made 55 redundancies, overhauled their entire scouting strategy, parted ways with their head of football, promoted the new head coach to the position of manager, signed Aubameyang to an enormous new contract, said farewell to their lead contract negotiator, and suffered their worst start to a season in 39 years. Wow, and that's just the last 12 months. Go back a little further, and you can include Granit Xhaka being stripped of his captaincy after telling his own fans to F off, previous captain Laurent Koscielny refusing to go on the club's preseason tour, the hiring of a new technical director, the unhappy departure of their head of recruitment, and the exit to AC Milan of their chief executive. This isn't just instability, this is complete and utter chaos. And the last thing the club needs is to start this process all over again. The term trust the process has been used a lot in recent weeks to mixed response. Now, while every fan is entitled to their own opinions, let me remind you that just 4 months ago, Arteta won the FA Cup, and only 6 weeks ago, he led us to a historic victory at Old Trafford. Arteta needs backing and empowering. He needs time, and Arsenal needs stability. As fans, we need to trust the process, and here's why. First and foremost, bringing in a new manager is a short-term solution. Let's get this straight. A new manager does not bring a new squad with him. Arsenal's current squad are here to stay until the end of this season at the earliest. Mesut Ozil, Mustafi, Socrates, Luiz, and Ceballos are all due to leave Arsenal next summer. At that stage, the likes of Lacazette, Kolasinac, Chambers, and Elneny will all have 1 year left on their deals. Ultimately, that's 9 players who in 2 years' time may very well be out the door. Let's not forget that 7 of these 9 players were part of the Wenger-Gazidis era, while the other 2 were Emery's signings. Before we can fully judge Arteta, we must give him time to build his own team. When Klopp first came to Liverpool in 2015, he inherited a similar situation to Arteta. If you look at Klopp's first starting 11 at Liverpool, you'll notice that none of those players start for Liverpool anymore. In fact, only 2 of the 11 are still at Liverpool today. Throughout the last 5 years, Klopp was given the time and resources to rebuild his club. Now, while I understand that Klopp's Liverpool never suffered a start to the season like Arsenal have this year, Klopp's Liverpool also didn't win a trophy until his 4th year at the club. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing the managerial abilities of Klopp and Arteta, but I'm simply saying that if you want to reach a similar height as Liverpool, we need to give our manager time. Arteta still has a ways to go to prove he can match the abilities of Klopp, but he won't be able to do so without proper backing. A full rebuild is needed at Arsenal, and to get there, Arteta needs time. Secondly, Arsenal's current run of form does not yet have the same feel as the final days of Unai Emery's reign at the club. Under Emery, many of the players had visibly given up on their coach. In recent weeks, Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, Pablo Mari, and Edu have all spoken up on behalf of Arteta. Furthermore, listen to what Pep Guardiola, arguably one of the best managers in world football, had to say about his ex-assistant coach.
Arsenal doesn't have better manager that lead this club in this year, in the next years, better than him. I don't have give publicly my support because he has it, he knows it, he has it, and he's one of the best managers I ever worked with, of course, and seen directly, and for his personality and his commitment and his love for his club, because without his love for his club, still would be here. So I'm pretty sure he will turn over and he will do it like everyone expect. So, but sometimes when a club comes from not a good period, sometimes it needs time. And I know in this world we doesn't need time. But if I would say, I'm not saying, but I would say part of the board of the Arsenal, I will not have any doubts about his quality and capacity to to put the Arsenal in the place like Arsenal deserves to be.
To quote the great Guardiola himself, he needs time. While many will argue that Emery didn't get time, it must be noted that the body language, energy, and general structure of the team have all remained significantly better as of right now compared to what Arsenal were producing towards the end of the Emery era. The signs are there that the players are still fighting for Arteta. Furthermore, it should not be forgotten that it was Arteta who convinced both Aubameyang and Saka to stay at the club this summer. Furthermore, he was able to convince the majority of the team to accept pay cuts during lockdown. Most of his players have completely bought in to his project. Under Emery, it was clear that the players had given up on the Spaniard. Ultimately, the board had no choice but to sack Emery because of the lack of faith the squad had in him. Unless similar signs start to appear under Arteta, the board will need to remain patient and trust in him. Lastly, the players who have failed to fulfill expectation in recent years will move away, and new players will come in. The likes of Xhaka, Bellerin, and Mustafi were all given second chances by Arteta. Ultimately, while they failed to impress, I have no doubt they will be moved on in the coming transfer windows. Arteta's two primary signings this summer, Thomas Partey and Gabriel, both of whom appear to be excellent long-term additions. If Arsenal are able to bring in 3 to 4 players of a similar caliber in the next 2 windows, progress will have been made. With all this being said, this is not to say that Arsenal's current run of form is acceptable. Arsenal are clearly a long ways away from where they should be. But as fans, we must accept that. After so much turbulence since Arsene Wenger's departure, there is no such thing as a quick solution to Arsenal's problems. To quote Arteta himself, just last month, the Spaniard said this: "The dream that I have, with the love that I have for this football club, is to achieve the level that this club deserves and build a project. But believe me, it takes time, and not a month or 3 months. This is time and time and time, and a lot of good decisions and a lot of support. This is where we are, and I am ready to fight. As an Arsenal fan, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to trust, and I'm ready to believe in Arteta. The question is, are you?"